Alrighty, good morning, ladies. I'm very excited to hop on and talk to you around this subject today. We're going to be talking about how to shift your emotional state and get into a more empowered state in order for you to create change. So if you're the other woman in an affair, the mistress, or you're dating a married man, and it's probably happened for months or years, you're probably feeling quite deflated. You're probably feeling like this is getting too hard. You're probably feeling powerless, possibly depressed. You probably have cried quite a lot in this whole experience. And this is not the state, the emotional state that you want to be operating at if you want to create change in your life. If we're wanting to create change, empowered change, we want to be acting from a place of, I can do this, instead of, I don't know if I'm possible. And so how do we do this? Today I'm at the beach, so we're in a little bit of a different location. I have, my desk is a mango box. So that's really lovely. But without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm going to be referencing a tool that completely shifted everything for me, and it has shifted a lot of people's experience of creating change in their life, and that's the tool of the Triad by Tony Robbins. And if you're familiar with Tony's work, this is a powerful strategy for you to shift your emotions, and it really works if you work it. So the Triad is essentially a triangle that focuses on focus, language, and physiology. And if we shift these three things in our life, we can shift ultimately the way that we show up for ourselves in our life and can shift our outcomes. And if right now you're getting a result that you're not wanting, in order to create the change, we must shift the action that we are taking, because we're not going to get new results with old action. It just doesn't work like that. So we're going to have to change who we are in order to create the change that we are seeking in our life. So if we're going to be working on the Triad, the first thing that we would be focusing on, and I want to first paint a picture of the Triad that we would be running right now while we're in the affair, and how to create a new Triad to support us on the woman that we want to step into moving forward. So the Triad that we would be running, and if I was at home, I would draw it on a poster so it's a bit more easier, but I'm just going to do this for now. If right now, while you're in the affair, the Triad that you would be running is, actually, I want to just focus on someone that's depressed for simplicity's sake. If we were to think about a person that is depressed, and to really think about how they would show up for themselves as a person, not show up for themselves as a person, but if you were to think about a depressed person, how do you think they would be looking? How do you think they would be operating in life? And if you were to think about this, you'd probably say, well, their focus would be on how they're a failure, they're not good enough, nothing is working, they have no energy. That's where their focus would be. People are out to get them. Who knows where their focus is, but essentially it's a focus that is on things that are not serving them, where everything is going wrong. And then if we were to look at language, if we were to think of the language that a depressed person would be using, for focus, they would be thinking about all the times that they have failed. So I failed at this. I stuffed up my conversation with this person. Again, I didn't get out of bed this morning, and all these things. They're focusing on all the problems, all the failures, and referencing them. And again, if you're in an affair, this is really easy to do. It's easy to focus on, well, again, this change hasn't happened. I said that I'm going to break it up, and here I am back in the situation. And so we're focusing on the many times that we have failed. And when we focus on that, we start to believe, well, if I have failed this many times, and if I have not followed through with my word this many times on ending it, or whatever it is that you're wanting, then you start to believe that that is the reality, and that you can't shift into a different reality. So if we're back to thinking about a depressed person, and think about the language that they are using, the language that they would using would be back to what I was saying before, is I'm not good enough, I keep failing, I hate myself, I have no energy, I'll never be able to achieve what I want, I don't have the skills like those people, I'm not like those people. All language that is just really dense and pulling you down, and it's not fun, it's not exciting. So when we think like that, it does make us feel lousy and in a state that doesn't want to create any change, because it just seems all too hard. And so naturally, that's what state we hop into. And then the third part is the physiology, which is your physical state. How are you using your body? How are you showing up for yourself? What do you look like? And if we were to think of a depressed person, if you think about them, is naturally closed, is more, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a lot of dogs barking, is naturally closed. Their shoulders are slumped over. They're probably looking down. If you see them walking, they're probably walking really slow. If you see them talking, they're probably talking really slow. They're probably breathing really shallow. All these things get us into an emotional state that is not shifting energy. And when we are not shifting energy, we feel stuck, we feel stagnant, we feel ugh. But in order to create new energy, we got to start moving this energy in our body. And that's when we start to feel it in ourselves as well. So we know the triad that we run that doesn't serve us. For you, if you're running a triad in an affair, a lot of the women, this is something that I felt when I was in an affair experience. So the triad that you would be running would be, what would you be focusing on? Well, it's been 3 years. He still hasn't left. I am not myself anymore. Look at the person. You notice the person that you were and the person you are today, and you just hate the look of that. You focus on the amount of times that you have given in your word, and you're just constantly giving yourself to this person, but not getting the love, the respect that you want back. Whatever it is, you're focusing on where it's not going right. And then language, you're probably saying to yourself things like, I don't know if he'll ever leave. I feel like I'll be stuck in this forever. Will I ever be able to meet someone that is the person that I want to attract in my life? I don't believe in myself anymore. I don't think he'll ever leave his wife. Will he ever leave his wife? How long is this going to go on for? I don't believe in myself anymore to create the change. I don't believe in myself to leave him. I don't feel like I have the power to follow through. I lack the confidence to be able to act on what I want. I don't know what I want. That is a big one, actually. Just constantly saying, I don't know anymore. I'm confused. That is like a triad in itself, and just constantly running the story of, I don't know. I'm not sure what I want anymore. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm confused. And that triad in itself is causing you to stay stuck. When you're operating in that triad, how are you using your body? You're probably like slumped over, and he is probably in a more powerful state, which means you're giving in to him. And because naturally we act we act in the opposite polarity to create the relationship. And so if he is big and powerful, you might shut down and go smaller. And so what triad are you running in this affair right now that needs to shift in order for you to create a different experience in your life? We're in a new year. And so who is the woman that you want to be in order to create the life that you so badly desire? And so if we want to think about that, we want to think about, well, what's the new triad that I want to create for myself? And we focused on the word depression. What if we focus on the word of like empowerment and self-love and self-respect? If we were to think of those words, you can think of a word, love, self-respect. change. If you want to focus on those words, you can absolutely focus on those words and create a triad from that. And you can also just focus on the triad of the woman that you want to be moving forward. What does she focus on? Well, she focuses on change. She focuses on, well, this is the kind of healthy relationship that I want in my life. And she focuses on herself showing up in that way. How would she act? How would she get out of bed in the morning? How would she dance through the kitchen? Who is she like? What is she like? And if we want to focus on that, let's reference some experiences that we were like that in our life, and also people that we notice that we like that show up in that way, and focus on that so you can start to bring it into your reality. So it might be a movie character, a famous person that is a person that you really look up to, and you think about, well, how would she show up in her relationships? And you think of, like, if it's a movie character and you love the way that she shows up for her man and also self-respect for herself, and you have all those references, then focus on that. And then you can embody that. You can be like, oh, how would I show up if I was acting like Clancy today when she is in her best state and best frame's mind? And then naturally you can act that, and it will start to integrate into your body and become you. If you think about us, we all have, if we're walking down a street, we all have a different like style of walk or style of run that we have. And in order to shift that style of running, you've got to actually put in the effort to create new pathways and start running like that. And if you're an athlete, you would know this, because you might have without any training or coaching, you might have had a lousy running style at first. And then the coach said, drop your arms a little bit. Don't run with them up here, drop them up, lift your chest up, take deeper breaths, slow that pace down, but keep slow the tempo of your legs down, but keep the pace up, whatever it is. And he starts to train you into running a different style to support you moving forward. Again, it's a bit uncomfy at first. You're using muscles differently and it feels a little bit painful. It feels like effort, when this is the running style that's supposed to be bringing you less effort. And that is the case with the triad. At first, you have to practice it. At first, you have to train your body to step into this new way of being. And so it takes a little effort at first, but that can be fun, because this is you training yourself to step into the new version that you want to show up as in order to create the life that you desire. So I got on a little tangent. Where are we at? We're talking about, oh gosh, I've completely gotten off track. So if we're stepping into the person that we want to be, we're on focus. What are you focusing on? Where are references in the past that you have showed up like that, where you had full confidence, where you showed up for your man? What are those references? If you don't have references like that, reference people that you look up to. You can do both, but let's focus on a focus that supports you in stepping into that energy that you want to create, that woman that you want to create. Then language. What language are you using in order to create? Just want to check I'm recording. Yes. What language are you using on a daily basis that helps you step into this identity? And instead of language of like, I don't know if I can do it anymore, I continue to fail, I continue to leave and then come back, it's never working, he always sucks me back in. What is the language that you're using right now? And how can we shift it into the language that you want to use, which is, how is this the perfect opportunity for me to grow, strengthen myself as a woman? How can I utilize this experience to grow stronger, to have more stronger boundaries that I haven't been able to exercise in the past? Like, this is the best opportunity for you to be able to exercise this woman that you want to step into on this foundation. It's seriously a really good foundation to be able to exercise it from, because it's challenging and it's obvious when change starts to happen, because of how stuck in the story you are right now. When you start to shift it, you can really notice it. It's not like a little experience where you're like, oh yeah, I'll just say that and state my boundary, and it's really comfortable stating your boundary because this person that you're stating it to is very respectful. In this situation, you're so emotionally tied, both of you, and so stating your boundaries, your whole body might be scared of losing the love, of it going wrong, of him getting angry, of him getting emotional. What is it? And so you are in the best place right now for you to strengthen that within yourself, because there's no better time. This is a challenging situation, yet that challenging situation is going to strengthen you the most. So what language are you using? How could this be the perfect opportunity? When you're naturally saying that as your story, instead of why am I always failing, think about the two women. How would they show up for themselves? And you can notice that it would be very different if you're constantly writing the story of, I feel powerless, I can't do this anymore, versus how can this be the perfect opportunity for me to strengthen and grow as a woman? Naturally, you're looking for, well, this I can do this right now. I can do this right now. I get to exercise this right now. I get to read this book so that I can implement this right now. It's way more exciting. So what language are you utilizing in your new triad in order to create the change that you want to as a woman? How can you do this? These are all things that are going to support you in shifting the way that you show up as a woman. And then the third one is physiology. So how do you utilize your body? We know that when we're in an unresourceful state, we're going to be closed, breathing shallow, talking slow, not in a good state of mind. And naturally, when you look at someone in that energy, it's not a vibe that like magnetizes you, pulls you in. And so who's this woman when she's operating from her best self? How does she utilize her body? And something that I do is with my clients is I want you to imagine there's a string going right through your body, and naturally you're just going to pull this string up, and that string is just opening your body in a really natural way, and it's going to feel really good. So do that now. If you're driving, you can kind of give it a little tug. But if you're not driving and you can do that, just actually test yourself. Put your feet on the ground and pull that string up, and you'll notice that naturally your whole spine, your whole body starts to open, instead of just like changing your shoulders and pushing them back and feeling a bit awkward. This is a really good strategy in order to just fully open and expand your body. And what does she do? She probably exercises and cherishes her body and moves and utilizes. When she walks into a room, she's open. Her face is light and not tense. She is open with love. Her smile is there. She might not be smiling, but you can actually notice the energy in her face is coming from a beautiful place and not a stress place. And there's this video which if you haven't watched, go watch it. I'll put the link below, by Cuddy, and it's called Power Poses, and it's a TED video. And she talks about when we stay in a pose like this, or a power pose, for 2 minutes, it literally changes your stress hormone by 20% and your testosterone by 20%. And I'm pretty sure another hormone. Essentially, 2 minutes of you shifting the way that you use your body completely shifts the stress that you feel in your body. And also testosterone is an action hormone. So if we're in a lousy state and we have low testosterone, we're not in a place of like feeling the need to take action on what we desire. And so naturally, if you're going to be expansive and open, you're going to be changing the chemicals in your body, which is just going to make you be in an easier place to create change from a natural place. So watch that video below on how to utilize your body, your physiology, in order to create change in your life. So that's Amy Cuddy, Power Poses. Really good video. Okay, so that is the triad that you would be utilizing to create change. And guys, this works. And I want to quickly just end on this. If you do this from a place of like, oh, I'm open, how can I do this and stuff like that, it's not going to work. You really got to enforce it into your body. You've got to skip down the street. You've got to listen to music that lifts you up, that steps you into this. And you have to go, how can I step into the woman that I so badly desire to right now, this very minute? How can this be an opportunity for me to create the change, for me to challenge myself in the most beautiful ways that I've never been able to do before? How is this the best opportunity for me to step into the woman that I so badly desire now? When we do that, when we do it from a place of actually utilizing emotion, energy, focus, that's when change happens in our body. And I just want to like paint a picture to be able to show you how important it is to really step into that emotion in the moment in order for this triad to work. If you think about say you get a call, or if you say you look back on to your graduation and the music that was playing at that time on the radio, whenever that song plays, naturally you'd feel back into the feelings of when you're graduating and what you're feeling then. Or if you have a significant life event and there's a smell or there's a song that was playing, naturally you can get transported back into that emotion. The reason why you remember that emotion is because it was at a very high emotional state. In order for your body to remember this new triad, this new woman that you're going to be showing up for as, then you need to make sure that you integrate that emotion in a powerful state, in a real powerful energy. Because if you think about this, an affair creates a lot of emotion. And the reason why you're feeling more powerless than ever is because you're naturally operating in this fight, flight, freeze state in a really like intense energy, in an intense way. If you're operating it at a medium way, the integration of that version of yourself would have been slower. But because you have been feeling like your heart probably feels like it's been ripped out a million times, you might feel like you're walking on eggshells. You might feel so powerless, and you might be crying at night. And all these emotions are such intense emotions, and that fully integrating into your body because of the intensity of the state of the emotion behind it. In order for you to step into this new version, and that's why you might feel like, I don't even know myself anymore, because you've been like literally exercising this pattern that is not serving you at such a deep emotional state that it has become a part of your new identity, a part of you. And so in order for you to create change in a new way, we've got to literally match or make it way higher an emotional state that is serving you. So step up, step into your room, play the music, start dancing, start saying, I can create change. I am willing to change now, and start integrating those affirmations and those new phrases that are going to support you in bringing out the best side of yourself. And in order to know if this has worked, you want to be stepping away when you're not doing the exercise anymore and literally feeling all of that in your body. And if you step away and kind of go sit down and don't feel like you are that person, then it hasn't worked. Go step back up and actually integrate it on such a powerful level that when you stop the exercise, you feel that through your whole body. And at first, it's going to maybe last for 5 minutes, and then you're going to drop back into it. But the more that you continually exercise it, the longer that it will space out and start to become who you are as a person. So that is the triad. That is how you shift your emotional state and get out of lousy emotions, stagnant emotions, and kind of get out of pain that you no longer want to experience. So I hope that helps. Guys, this is a very this is a challenging situation to be in. That does not mean that you have the power to create the change that you really want to create. And I can assure you that change can happen in an instant, and change can happen in an instant via using this triad to create the change. As soon as you show up as a different woman, you create new action that creates change. And so in order for you to create change, I encourage you to start implementing that triad. If you want support on implementing your own triad of how you want to show up as a woman, then you can book in a call below. I have my call link. It's the first call is always free at the time of recording this video, so book that in. You can also join the group and share your triad in there in the Facebook group if that's something that you want to do. This is definitely a strategy that works if you work it. So I hope that helps. Kate London, I'm a fair recovery coach. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.